Okay, this will be an interesting one. Maybe a little bit of nostalgia connected to it. Let's have a look. See. When are we going to stay on 100 or whatever? Going to leave out the contrast for this. See how we go. Let's see what we've got. It's a bath mat. I didn't find it. I bought this at a shop, at a cheap shop. It's made out of some kind of, looks like old pieces of some kind of fabric. This is like what I had at my granddad's place on my dad's side of the family. I'm sure they had bath mats just like this, very similar, if not the same. So it brings back some nostalgic memories of my granddad, even though he was an asshole. Like my father, he was an asshole, a bloody asshole. He used to whip my dad with machine belts, and used to lock my dad and his siblings up under the garage. Well, it's not actually quite a garage. It's like one of those stilt houses in Queensland that has like slats all around, and he got locked up in the basement there with his siblings when his dad and his, I don't know, mistress went out to play tennis. So it was really cruel what happened, even though my dad's an asshole and I'm really pissed with the way that he is. You got to sort of take it back and see why he turned out to be such an asshole. Where did it happen? Where did it go wrong? Why did my dad become really good at lashing out with a strap? Just strapping people, strapping me. When I don't know what I did wrong, he just strapped me, and it was really unpleasant. Of course it is. It's painful. And it's violent. It would be considered child abuse in this day and age. But back then they didn't have that kind of classification for that sort of mean-spirited parental behaviour. Now this does not quite look what I want. So yeah, it's not nice being strapped. You're supposed to look up to your parents. They're supposed to guide you and protect you. And then when they strap you, they betray your trust. They do. It's betrayal. It's like a form of betrayal, folks. It is betrayal. Your parents should make their children feel safe and loved, not treat them like shit. And that's what my dad did. Oh, sure, Dad gave me good Chrissy presents once a year and birthday presents, but I can't forget. I can't forgive and forget what he did to me, and him not disliking, but absolutely hating what I do with the photocopier. That was even more painful in many ways than the fucking beltings he gave from time to time. He didn't always belt, but he basically was good at applying it. He was good at fucking around. I don't know how I'm going to make this look. But basically, yeah, he wasn't a good father. He wasn't the kind of father, I wanted to love him and I wanted to please him. I wanted to be his daddy's girl, because of my tendency to like blokey things, like the stuff he did, like electronics and electrical things. It really hurt that my dad couldn't satisfy my curiosity as often as I'd like him to. And basically, he just treated me like I didn't matter as much, you know, and that everything I did to him was wrong. So, you know, I'm not happy with my father. I'm not happy with the way he treated me. So it's not just the beltings that I got as a little child. It was just his whole attitude, you know. And he tells me I'm too negative, and his negativity would have rubbed off on me at an early age. So you can't blame me. He's got to look at himself and see, well, maybe I'm responsible. Maybe it was me that, maybe I was too hard on the girl. You know, fuck him. I'm not happy with his attitude. I'm not happy that he's allowed to be abusive and not allow me to be myself and accept me as I am. So he can go fuck himself and his bullshit. You know, he wants to bully me. He can go sit on this and gyrate, because I'm not going to let him. Because I'm not going to look, I'm not going to see him, I'm not going to talk to him. I'm going to keep him away from me until such time as he apologises. And that'll be when I go on television to, you know, now this is really odd. I keep getting this straight down the middle shit. Fuck, I hate that. I don't know why it's like that. But yeah, I just don't know how to get my dad to see that I'm not a piece of shit, that I'm not a failure. Because he considers me a fucking failure. And I really find that insulting. You know, I want to be myself, thank you very much. And if you don't like that, father, go fuck yourself, because you're fucking getting punished for it by my absence. So he's just a fucking idiot. He's a fucking slut. Anyway, that looks a lot better. I think maybe we could use this. But yeah, he's just an idiot. You know, I know he was abused as a child and all that. I know that he went through a similar thing, or probably worse. I mean, I think a machine belt is worse than a leather belt of a strap off dad's pants. But basically, it's still child abuse. It's still painful. You still get welts on your legs when he does it. So it's not a nice thing to be belted. And that's probably where the negativity must have come from. Because I have been a pretty negative person most of my life. Still trying to shake it. But basically, I do trace it back to him and his punishing attitude. So he's got to show some fucking responsibility. Or otherwise, I'll just consider he has no fucking balls to deal with anything. He's just a fucking dickless wanker. And he left my mum, you know, he divorced her, and he was suspected in 1981 of playing up with an old flame. Mum wasn't happy, that ruined her life. And then in 1988, 89, finally Dad ran away and had a crush. He was playing around with a mistress, or should I say a love interest overseas. Not love, true love, but, you know, love as in just a colloquial use of the word. Yeah, and they broke up. And it totally devastated my mum, and she hasn't recovered since. That's been a long time, folks. So, you know, he's not setting a good example to people like myself. You know, he wants me to be disciplined and stuff. He can go fuck himself, because I'm not. Anyway, that's turned up quite splendid. I think now we can call this demo quits.